All right, Gristmill. What's up, guys?
Howdy.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So you guys are practicing tonight, you said, yeah?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, I got
You guys got shows lined up? Are you working on new material? What's up?
A little bit of both, actually. We didn't have any shows lined up in the very near future until earlier today.
Yeah, literally today.
Now we have a show next week.
Nice.
So our plans of drilling some new stuff for the entirety of the night were partially derailed, but we still made that work anyway.
Right on. I was talking to Shane before this, and he said you guys play a shit ton of shows. You guys are always booked for something, yeah?
We went on a pretty good string of events where we were hitting shows basically every week. We were getting pretty lucky. We played some pretty big ones like Weed Eater.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I saw the Atomic Bitch Wax and Weed Eater.
Yeah.
That's a fucking awesome show.
Yeah, that was really awesome.
How'd you get yourselves on that lineup? And what was it like playing with those guys?
I mean, Atomic Bitch Wax blew me away. Of course,
Yeah.
Weed Eater as well, but I've never really listened to Atomic Bitch Wax, but their bass player was just out of this world, and Weed Eater is just always awesome. It was cool.
Yeah, that Atomic Bitch Wax set was one of the first times in a while where I was like, whoa. Like they were really impressive live.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it's cool. And Shane also said that Tom, you are a history teacher, and he was saying he was saying something about you guys had a show like up in Boston or something before the first day of school.
This is a ridiculous story.
Yeah,
we got offered to play in Boston, and it was kind of short notice, I think, maybe like a couple weeks. And you know, it's an excuse to go to Boston. It was something that looked like it was going to be really fun. So we was like, yeah, like that sounds good. And then I realized that it was my first day of school. And what we all didn't know that day as we were driving up, I worked till 2, and my wife picked me up, and we hit the highway right at 2. We did not know a hurricane was chasing us as we were going up 95. So the weather turned really sour as we were arriving in Boston, and it only got worse. And then when I had to drive home through the remnants of, it was Hurricane Ida, and it was when all those people died on like the turnpike right around New York City, and we were coming through New York and like Westchester and Connecticut like that whole night as the storm was like ripping through, and we had to drive backwards on the highway like 2 different times. And then it looked like we weren't going to be able to get home in any reasonable amount of time. So I actually emailed my boss from the car and said, like, I'm stuck in Connecticut. And I got home at 5:30. And the last email I sent, I said to my boss, I'd call him at 7:30, because that's usually when I get to school, and it's right when everybody kind of arrives. And I woke up at 7:30, and I called him, and I was like, hey, I'm going to be a little bit late, but I'm going to try to get in. He's like, I didn't think you were going to even call. But I went to school. I don't drink coffee, but I had a little espresso drink before, and I was like kind of all psyched up when I went in, and it ended up being fine. But it was definitely a whirlwind of an evening, but a good way to start off the school year,
sure.
I guess.
Yeah. Me and Jesse the night party.
Yeah, we had a bit of an easier
We
time.
partied that night.
Bastards.
as you should. Yeah. So how much does your school know about like your band and stuff? I had Ryan Garney on here from High Desert Queen. He's a teacher as well. And he's like, I don't like publicize it. Some people found out a little bit. Some of the teachers know that kind of stuff. But like, do your students know? Does the faculty know? Are they like, what kind of music do you play? And then you show them Gristmill, and they're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I think most of the staff knows I play in a band. I don't say much about it, but there is another teacher, the art teacher at my school, also plays music, and like we set up an art show or a music thing a while back. I played music with her a bunch, so she's up with it, but she also gets it. Some other people are like, oh, it's so cool that you have this other thing. Like it's neat. The students don't really know anything because I just don't tell them what the band is called. But in
Might be
my
better off.
old job in an old band, I played drums, and these kids that I knew at school, just for like, I knew they were into music, and I was like right out of college at the time, so we would chit chat about stuff. And then we played a show with a band called Such Gold. I don't know if you've ever heard of Such Gold.
I think so, maybe.
They're like a pop punk band from, I think might be from New York, but like kind of in the mid to late 2000s range. And we played first, and I sit behind the drum set, and all these kids are standing right in the front row, right up against the stage. And I was like, oh no.
Students?
They weren't, I didn't have them as my students, but I knew who they were from school because we had chatted about music.
And they knew who you were.
They
Obviously.
knew who I was, yeah.
That's funny.
But it was
It's kind of like that scene in Varsity Blues where the kids go to the strip club and see their teacher up on the stage.
exactly.
I think they were both like equally shocked, you know?
So, you know, it's kind of cool that there's high school kids out there who listen to, you know, new music and whatnot. And, you know,
How do you manage to play shows, a lot of shows apparently, and still make it like to school the next day? Because like for me, I work from home. I don't even hardly go to the office anymore. But still, like I'm falling asleep on the couch at like 10 o'clock. Like I wouldn't be able to go out to a bar, let alone play a show, let alone like unwind for after the show, let alone go to bed, wake up for work. How do you manage doing shit like that?
That question. This dude's one of a kind, and he goes. There's no breaks. All good.
But even you guys, I mean, I'm sure you guys have day jobs. Like, what is it like playing 4 times in a week or something and still getting up for work the next day?
Well,
It's never
usually,
been that crazy. But
usually our max is once a week.
Yeah.
But I also work from home, so it's.
luckily we open these shows, so I don't have to think about it.
But Tom's been a real trooper, as James was saying. Like a lot of these shows, like when we played High Reaper, the Weed Eater show, and the Telekinetic Yeti show,
Yeah.
Tom had to like seriously rearrange his schedule.
Play
He's a big
and
trooper for us. So
He left a wedding too the week after
left a
the
wedding.
Boston show. He
The High Reaper
dropped
show.
Kelsoff, who's my cousin, his wife, at a wedding. Left, came, played the show, and went back to the wedding, which was like 40 minutes away.
I got to eat the plated dinner. that
Plated
they
is
served.
like,
yeah, it
dude.
was sick. But yeah, I'll just chalk it up to I'm a morning person, so like,
Yeah.
I'll deal with it.
I suppose you kind of get used to it, I guess. I could train myself to do something more every night. But I mean, I have 2 kids too, and getting them fed to bed, and then I'm like falling asleep. I couldn't imagine even going out at that point. I don't even go out to dinner during the week very often.
Adding kids into the mix is
yeah,
is a different ball game for sure. We are kidless.
Yeah, that's true. That's 3 adult babies.
We are 3 adults.
Yeah. So the album you guys put out in 21, back in, what was it, like July or something?
yeah, July.
It's called Heavy Everything, which is a fucking great album title. It's just like, fuck it. Heavy everything. I love it.
There's a story behind
Yeah,
that
there's a
too.
funny story behind it.
All right.
Yeah,
If you want to tell
Tell
it.
us your story
Yeah,
again.
you gotta tell it.
Go
it's
for
another,
it.
it's
Yeah,
another,
you gotta tell the story.
it's another teacher story. So I do this thing where I give kids tickets in class, like raffle tickets, when they're taking care of business, right? That's the name of the program. And at the end of the month, I do a drawing, and we could take the kids in the bus to the local deli, and they can get a sandwich. So this one kid asked if he could get this sandwich that comes with all sorts of stuff. It's like a breakfast sandwich, but it's like a fat sandwich, if you're familiar with what like a fat sandwich is. So it's got like bacon, sausage, 5 eggs, cheese, hash browns. Like it's just a mess.
Nice.
So I was like, yeah, whatever, man. Like the school pays for it. So he gets up to the counter and he orders what the hell's the name of the sandwich? The Bigfoot. The sandwich is called the Bigfoot. And he goes, I'll have a Bigfoot, heavy everything. And the guy working the counter is just like a dude, maybe a little older than us, who owns the place. And he just looks up with his pad and he just goes, and then just write anything down.
Everything.
And I was standing behind him with my mouth on. I was like, who orders a sandwich and asks for heavy everything?
That is awesome. I I love it.
It hung around as a story, and then we had another idea, and I was like, you know what, screw it, let's just call it Heavy Everything. It's got a good story.
It does have a good story. That's funny. Yeah, the kid's trying to like make a second sandwich out of all the toppings and shit.
Yeah.
It just so happens to tie it into kind of the music at the same time, so it's kind of like inside joke / it's kind of appropriate for
I love that. Yeah, I mean the artwork definitely doesn't say anything about a sandwich. It's just getting his head smashed in. But
I definitely proposed that it be a sandwich, but
instead of like that anvil sitting there, it should have just been a sandwich, and his head just got crushed by this giant sandwich. Maybe that's the album cover that I'm going to have to make and post on Slightly Fuzzed next week.
Sandwich.
That'd be sick.
Make it come to life.
Yeah. So I love I listened to your podcast with was it Doom Tomb?
Oh yeah.
And you guys kind of went over like every track on the album. So I won't do that, but I did really like the intro to Mitch. It's like so almost positive and uplifting. You're thinking like you're getting into this thing, and then it's just like heavier from then on out. Like I love that like opening riff to that album is just kind of like, this is gonna be all right, and then it's just like heavy everything.
And then Tom's thinking about cannibalizing Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, I heard plenty about like the irony. I think you said was it DC and politics and stuff, and
yeah.
Well, it's definitely a heavy album, and it's heavy everything. It's cool. And I saw that you guys recently announced you're going to be on the Dregs Records, so that's cool.
Yeah, really stoked on that.
Yeah. How'd you hook up with Shane?
He contacted us. Right?
Yeah, I think
he reached out to us.
We did a live set. I don't know if you're familiar with 856, Sonny, kind of more of like a hardcore type video guy. But we did a live set with him. I'm pretty sure that's how he.
Is that how he found out?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so we just officially signed on with him, and we'll be doing some vinyls. TBD on dates for that, but yeah, we're pretty excited about that for sure.
Cool.
I said that was another facet of the Boston trip too. Like when we went up there, we got to meet him for the first time, so it's kind of like, all right, I'll play the show, we'll get to meet Shane.
Yeah, he's doing lights.
He did the lights for that show, and like it was nice to spend an evening with him and eat some ice cream and rock a bit. So
nice. So I was wondering if you guys realized that if you take the first letter of all the songs on this album and rearrange them, you can almost spell Gristmill.
No way.
Really?
No way.
I didn't realize that.
Damn.
So
That's pretty amazing that you noticed that,
Mitch.
All right. So check this out.
It's pretty fun.
Oh, because Glassdoor.
Glassdoor remains nameless. Irony, Stone Rodeo, The Goblin, Mitch, Irony, I guess, if you use it twice.
Oh, no,
interlude.
The interlude, and then Loon, and it's just missing one L.
Oh, that's so close.
So guy does say Gristmill. It's missing an L.
So I'm assuming that was not planned by your reaction.
Told us that for the first time, for sure.
Yeah, you're kind of blowing off.
It's meant to be.
Yeah, how'd you notice that?
I have no fucking idea, dude. I was like listening to the album while I was working out and looking at the tracks or something, and I was just like, hold on a second, these guys are fucking with me.
That'd be pretty cool if we could have.
Yeah.
And I got to the very last letter and was like, what? There has to be another L song on here somewhere.
That's funny.
It's a hidden track.
Yeah.
So funny.
I don't know. I think that maybe you should think about some hidden message in your next album or something.
That's the Istmill.
Noted.
I like the idea.
Yeah. So with Gristmill, this is your first album, right? Heavy Everything.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So you guys, what's the plan what's planned for the next thing? Are you working on something this year, or what's planned for Gristmill in 22?
I'd like it to be sooner rather than later. We got a number of songs that are, well, I'd say almost fully formed now, and a whole other handful that we've jammed around on and have played at one point or another that needs some more attention. But I think we could work quickly and we could get ourselves in a position to start playing some tracks probably in the next couple months if we're committed and our personal lives don't go in 100 different directions.
Yeah, for sure. We're pretty close on like 4, I guess, right?
Yeah.
You'd say.
They're very good. Yeah, 4 pretty good.
Yeah, we played 2 of them live. I don't know. We should have played 2 of them live. One we should have. One is good.
Yeah,
one's written.
Wait, what was the second one?
Ohio is a little rough. But yeah, I would like to do it sooner rather than later because nobody ever says, "Man, I wish they didn't put that record out so soon."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. How has your band changed since putting out a record like 6 months ago? Like in sound or in performing, or have you noticed any changes since putting out our first record?
That's a good question. There's definitely been a change in perception. Things this is kind of different than what you're asking, but once we released the album, I think was a big turning point when people started to become aware of some of our music and things started coming together a lot. I don't know. What would you guys say?
If you listen to the live recording and the actual album, you could tell how far we've come from when we actually recorded it to when we did that. It was almost a year of the pandemic.
Yeah.
We held on to the album through the whole pandemic. We recorded it beforehand.
That's a long time.
So when we did the live recording, we put the album out with it, but we really recorded the album a year before. So like it was, you can tell the difference between the live album and the actual album.
It can't be easy to sit on recorded material for like a full year. And I know a lot of people did it in 2020 and whatnot, but I mean, once you get it done, I mean, I'm sure you're just like dying to get it out as soon as possible to as many people as possible, and then to just sit there with it in your pocket for like a full year or longer.
We put out 2 singles.
Yeah.
And that kind of stretched it a little bit, but
I think we were planning to do like a big show for it, like an album release, and then the pandemic hit, and then it was like, all right, what do we want to do? And then eventually we just got to a point, it's like, all right, let's just get this out into the world because it's not doing us any good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was finished being mixed and mastered in May of 2020. So like it was being mixed like when everything kind of came to a halt, and then it was finished. But at the time it was finished, it was really the doldrums when there was like no good information. So then it sucked at first, but then it was easy to just kind of put away in your mind. And then it got to the point where like that wound festered for so long and you're like, all right, we just have to do something with it. Cause like it's easy just to ignore it for a while. But then then the following spring came back around and we recorded the live thing. I think that was definitely turning point where it was like, all right, we're going to invest the time to film this thing. And it may not be what we originally thought was going to happen with its release and like a show in person and whatnot, but at least it was special in its own right.
It turned out better that way.
And then, as it turned out, the timing was fine because we had like a summer to play shows, and
that video was awesome.
That
was a good time.
The video
came out incredible.
Great,
got us some good exposure because Sunny is a pretty big platform. So,
yeah.
And then in terms of how the songs have changed for the new stuff that we've written, the songs are definitely a lot shorter, a little bit more punk of a flavor. But we try to still keep that doom streak, the stoner streak hard in there, because you don't want to get too far away from what we originally started doing as homies,
Yeah, it's interesting to see like this like blurred line between some of the like styles. Is you can, if you're heavy enough, like you can be a punk band and still be like a stoner band too, and get like stoner cred too, and doom and all, you know, all that kind of shit. Like I know a lot of bands that if they would have just decided they were a different genre, they would have a totally different fan base, and they wouldn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you could easily just call yourself a punk band and you'd have a punk band and punk fans and be in the punk genre, but like you chose to like lean towards the stoner doom kind of shit, and that's who your fans are now. You know what I mean?
For sure. And like that definitely comes from like the very earliest days, you know, when we were originally I actually played bass at first. And like the songs were very much like doom bands, like doom songs. And over time it kind of just migrated in a certain direction. I think Mute might be the song that kind of twisted it in that direction from the beginning.
It literally goes from like a punk song to like a stoner song.
Yeah,
so, like,
it
quite
does.
literally.
Yeah.
So it's fun to walk that line.
What were you telling Doom Tomb about the song Loon? I just caught like the tail end of it when you guys played the little sound bite of the loon.
Oh, loons are incredible animals, and they make.
Oh, he didn't know it was a bird.
Oh, okay. Is that what? Was that what?
Okay.
So yeah, a loon is a bird.
Waterfowl.
Yeah, I knew that.
And they have this really eerie, beautiful call that they make a lot of times, like around sundown, or sometimes they freak out after dark and they go nuts. But they kind of call and respond, like, you know, it's call and answer, so they can get spun up and like they all start freaking out. So I spend a lot of time in the mountains in New York, and I've always really liked that sound. So I wrote a song.
I was waiting for like some like guitar version of that sound or something in the song after I heard you guys talking about it. What, like, how was the song influenced by the loon, like lyrically, or is there a sound in there that I didn't catch? Or
yeah, no, there's no sound. When we play live, though, we do have this little, I guess I'll call it an oration, where this guy tells this story about like sundown in the Adirondacks. And then he ends it with, and then you hear the call of the loon, and then it plays. Oh yeah, the wail of the loon.
You hear the wail
And he
of the
plays. Or
loon. Something like that. That was a bad one. I heard this before. I could do it better.
So we'll use that. We have a clip.
yeah.
Roll, and then like when the sound plays, James hits the 4 bells, and we just go right into the song. But the song is about loons and how they eat stones from the bottom of lakes to help digest their food. And like there's a problem with fishermen using.
I didn't know that part.
They use lead, like they used to be able to use lead tackle in freshwater lakes up there, and the loons would eat the lead tackle that got lost, and then they would just get lead poisoning and die. So like using non-lead tackle and being like mindful of your fishing line and whatnot is like a big thing up in the mountains up there. I just started reading about loons one day and wrote a song about it.
Right, rad. Yeah, I didn't know that they were eating lead tackle, I suppose.
Yeah, like they have weird things. They migrate. Like their migratory patterns are weird. They'll take up residence in one lake, pairs usually, and then if like a rogue male comes to one of the lakes and like it kicks out the other male and takes over, the male that loses will typically just like wander off into the woods and die. Like I don't know. I had a hard time writing lyrics at the beginning of having to sing in this band, so I was like really looking for stuff to write about. Like
you became a loon expert.
So I was like, let me check this out, and that's kind of how that all came about.
Right on. So I got inspired by a post on Instagram, and I turned it into a little segment here for us. I'm going to call it. Here, let me get the first picture up here. I'm gonna call it pooping, fucking, or playing. So you have to decide if that guy is pooping, fucking, or playing the guitar.
Those earrings are a tough one.
Should we all get our own answers?
I would say guitar.
You think guitar?
Yeah, it looks like he's playing the fucking guitar.
Yeah, originally I thought fucking, but I think it might be guitar. I think you might be right. I think you might be right.
All right, we're going guitar.
Going guitar. Okay. That guy is fucking.
Well, good for him.
I'm trying to tell if he's sweating or not. Although I don't know that really would help in like what he might be doing for either of those activities.
Looks like a shit face to me. Not much of a guitar face, but I could be wrong.
I think you're a guitar again. They're all guitar.
Yeah. Who's taking a photo back to the quality of somebody on the toilet?
Yeah,
right. All right. You sold me.
This guy is pooping. This guy is pooping.
Go for 2.
Damn, you're really blowing out.
Do you have the full picture?
I should have put that. I should have put that next, but some of them were explicit. I don't know that I would get away with putting them up on.
All right, this one has to be guitar. This one has to be guitar.
I mean, he's having a really good
It
time.
looks kind of like the guy from the Jawbreaker.
This guy is actually fucking.
Is he? Okay,
Yeah.
Great time.
I thought the guitar was the natural next one. We're really bad at this.
Yeah.
I'll say guitar again. It looks like he's in a.
Looks like he's at a venue. Yeah.
He's opening.
I hope that this guy is not fucking. First of all,
He's got a shirt on.
But he's playing guitar.
Yeah.
All right. Got one. Ooh.
Also guitar.
That's got to be guitar.
Yeah.
That's like rock hair.
This guy is playing guitar. Yeah.
All right.
Taking the shit.
Yeah. I'm going with that too. I think you're right.
Hopefully he's fucking because that's hilarious.
This guy is taking a shit.
We're getting better at this game.
Yeah, why don't you see the real guitar face? Oh man, a guitar again, but
This guy
He's wearing clothes.
He kind of looks like a
Nice.
dork.
You guys think?
Oh,
What do you
man.
go with?
he looks like he's pumping one out.
I feel like he's taking a dump.
He's taking a dump.
He's taking it down. He's taking it down.
On a streak here.
These people need more fiber, man. They need more fiber in their life.
All right, he's fucking. He's definitely fucking this guy. I don't know if you guys agree, but
Yeah, it's like the.
look at that face. Come on.
You don't think that's it's a really heartfelt solo? This guy is fucking.
There's the heartfelt.
Is that
That's a solo face.
is that Alex Lifeson?
I have no idea who this is.
It's like Alex Lifeson, kind of.
Rush?
The guy from Rush, yeah.
Oh, he kind of does.
This guy is playing guitar.
Yeah, in Rush.
I'm gonna say this dude's. Oh, I don't know.
He fell asleep doing it.
Yeah, I think it's like. Is he asleep on the toilet? I
He
don't
fell
know.
asleep taking
The background isn't looking.
This guy's fucking.
He's fucking dead. He's over it.
The first couple really threw us for a loop.
All right, I believe that is it.
Oh man,
That's pretty funny.
that was good stuff.
So, do you think I should add that to the weekly segments?
Yeah,
So
I'll
it becomes a
tell
regular thing.
all my students about that one. check out,
Yeah, we had
check out
this
Sunday
cool
Fuzz.
thing.
There's a great segment.
Shit, fucker.
Well, now we can do the fuzz round as well. So I'm going to show you 10 photos, and you guys have to come up with a good album cover for it.
We have to draw.
You don't have to draw. Just tell me what it would be called.
A name. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm going with that's Gut Rot.
That's pretty good. I like
Gut
that.
It's a
Rot.
good name. Good name for a band. Gut Rot.
Yeah.
Do we need
legitimately would
do we need a record title too?
Go for it.
Soiled.
Well,
That would be a pretty good like death metal band.
that's
Definitely.
Yeah.
Man.
Cat.
For one, this is a very interesting picture in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I think
I
it's-
don't worry about this.
That's
I think it's
dog.
Willem Dafoe from The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's Apollo's Last Dance.
Is that actually Apollo?
It's a cat.
Yeah, it looks like Apollo.
I have a black cat that's hanging around here, so
Oh, yeah.
knowledge there.
Yeah, like
That's
Popeye
a
holding
weird
Apollo.
picture, man.
Yeah, I want to know more.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. But
Oh man. Jeez. Sister Rock.
None your business.
None of your business.
None your business.
Oh man, we're bad at this.
Ooh.
There's a lot to take in on this
Yeah.
one. Is he a bear?
Band's called Lakeside.
You don't want to cover anything else going on in this picture?
Nah, it's Lakeside.
That's a lakeside
It's
activity.
an emo band, Lakeside.
Jeez. Oh man, that's sister.
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 That's good. That's good.
I think you might have to save none your business for this one.
Yeah, none your business.
None of your business.
None your
Yeah.
business too. That's their second
Yeah,
album.
that's fair.
Ooh.
I feel like that's like a Slippery When Wet band.
Why? Because he just soils himself in that thing all the time?
No, it's like Bon Jovi's first record.
Oh,
You think
man.
Bon Jovi wears some diaper like that around the house? He might.
Probably
Just a
now.
thought.
Nowadays.
Are you guys familiar with the fact that they renamed the rest stop?
Yeah, I'm pissed about that. The Bon Jovi fucking rest area.
Yeah, there's like the rest areas on the Garden State Parkway. This is like the main road that runs north and south in New Jersey. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I've been out there like one time, but I did have to drive. I did have to drive out there.
Miserable.
So they have all the rest stops, and they used to just be named after locations or whatever. But they recently had a campaign to rename all of them after famous people from New Jersey. And like the first one that they renamed is one that's pretty close to our house, and they renamed it the John Bon Jovi Rest Stop. But I don't think a whole lot of people knew it. So like you just drove down the road, and all of a sudden the giant sign says John Bon Jovi Rest Area, and you're like, what? Like, why did they change this? They're changing all.
His picture, they doesn't have like his picture on or anything. It's just like randomly called John Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
That's not.
And then there's a guitar on like the front of the building now.
Oh, okay.
Pretty fun. It's like a cornball, so it's like it's the first rest stop you see, and it's really the only one that I really pass and pay any attention to, because it's usually like coming home, like kind of have to piss. So you're like, what?
That's funny.
He's invading.
Are there any other good ones? Have you seen any other ones?
I looked up the list. Bruce Springsteen declined respectfully, according to the article I read.
Huh.
I can't remember any of the other ones. I think Frank Sinatra might be one of them. But don't quote me on that.
Bruce. Yeah, oh, Jesus.
What's this one?
What is that?
I don't know.
There's a guy behind her.
Looks like some wild experiment happening.
Yeah,
Oh, geez, what would we call
I
that?
don't know. The acid cigar, eyedropper.
Acid cigar.
Wait, so is this person's hooked up to an acid feeding machine?
Yeah,
Eyedroppers
yeah.
in there.
Acid feed.
That's what should happen.
That's wild.
Oh jeez.
It's like kind of meatloafy.
It is meatloafy.
It's pretty rad though.
That's a lot going on here. Got the police, Keytar. So much happening.
What would we call this? I don't even know what direction to go. There's like kind of pirate.
Hey,
there's like a pirate.
so
There's a pirate boot going on.
Doom police.
Oh man.
Doom cops.
Doom monster.
Doom
Playing guitar.
Doom patrols and shit.
This would be a rad movie. Maybe even better than the album. It'd be a rad movie.
It's not our bag. We don't do movies. We just do bands.
Oh man. E.T.'s sister.
This is what I imagine customer service is like in many establishments I call. Just
Please wait.
Cut the cord. Cord cutter. Cord cutter.
Hold please.
all right, so
Wonder on hold please.
All right, last one.
I feel like Bottom Feeder might be a decent band name for this one.
All right.
Why do we call it Bottom Feeder? That's kind of a better name than Gristmill.
Bottom feeder. That's like
How did you guys come up with Gristmill anyway? Where did Gristmill come from?
Yeah, it's an old restaurant that my grandma used to take me to back in the day.
Oh, really?
Called the Gristmill.
Called the Gristmill.
Yeah.
probably not what you were expecting.
I found that through this podcast, like I shouldn't expect anything really because of people's band names, album cover, album names, stuff like that. Like I'm always surprised. So that's not that surprising given like the other responses.
In old Gristmill.
Yeah, it's actually the scene behind that place is cool.
Yeah.
I was when I talked to Cadabra on here, they their new album is called Ultra. And I don't always ask like, you know, where the names come from, but for some reason I asked where Ultra came from. And they said they just couldn't come up with a name, and they were drinking Michelob Ultra, and they were like, "All right, fuck it, we're going with Ultra."
There you go.
Sounded good. Wake up and still run with it. You're in.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, guys. I like Heavy Everything. Congratulations on putting out a good album this year, and hope to see what you guys are doing next year. And congratulations on joining the Dregs.
Thank you.
I've had Shane on here and Empty Black, and I'm gonna have to work through the list, I suppose.
Yeah, man. Everybody seems to be cool.
Yeah, well, we really appreciate you having us on. This is great.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you so much.
Stay in touch.
Hell yeah.
Thanks. See ya.
See ya.